Hi, this is Marlon Magdalena, Instructional Coordinator for Hamus Historic Site. This is going to be a quick video that goes along with my lesson plan on flutes and whistles of the Pueblo people. And it's going to be a brief overview about different types of flutes. This first one here that I'm going to talk to you about is a type of Rimblung Flute, which are some of the oldest types of flutes that have existed here in the American Southwest. This particular flute that I'm going to show you is a replica that I made out of bamboo. Now, the original flutes that were found in northeastern Arizona from Broken Flute Cave were found by Earl Morris. They were made out of some type of wood. The most likely candidate is elderberry. Elderberry being very soft on the inside and very easy to hollow out to make into a tube needed for a flute just like this. And so I made this one out of bamboo. It has 6 holes. It's a replica of one of those 4 flutes that were found in that particular cave in Arizona. It's about 29 inches long, very narrow. And 2 techniques that were the most likely way to play this type of flute I will demonstrate here shortly. The first technique is an oblique blowing technique. It's just a blowing technique used to play other types of flutes as well. Now this first one, you kind of blow to the side. It's the side blowing technique. Now the next one is an interdental technique. So this top part here is going to go in between my 2 front teeth. My tongue is going to be bent in the back, and I'll be blowing kind of down to the side. This is what the rim looks like. Very flat rim, goes all the way around. So a very simple type of flute, but the difficulty comes in making sounds, making music from this type of flute. Now this flute here is the same type. It's a Rimblone Flute. It's a replica that I made out of bamboo. It's a replica of a flute from Grand Gulch, Utah, southeastern Utah, Grand Gulch. So you can see here it's the same type of flute. It's just got 4 holes. It's a lot shorter, 13 inches long. You can see the rims, very similar. And the techniques to play this flute are very similar as well. So the next flutes I'm going to talk to you about are bone flutes. And bone flutes are made in the past out of different material or different types of bones, mostly from birds, because bird bones are hollow. That's how they're able to fly. They're very light, and their bones are hollow. So this first one is a turkey bone. It's a turkey bone flute made from the tibial tarsus of a turkey. As you can see here, and there's a special type of glue that I put on the inside, made from pinon sap and charcoal or ashes. You put inside here a specific way to funnel that air that's coming from your breath, and it comes out this sound hole here to produce the sound. That's what it sounds like. And these other ones are eagle bone flutes, and they're made from the ulna of an eagle. Now the ulna is a bone that is in the wing, and I have 2 here. This one's a little bit longer, it's a little bit shorter, but they both came from the same eagle. Just one that I cut a little bit shorter. And because of that, they produce 2 different sounds. One's a higher pitch, and then this one's going to be a lower pitch because it's slightly longer. what they sound like. Now this one here is also made out of an eagle bone, but it's a whistle. It's only got one hole on the top. And you can see the glue on the inside. And I've attached a cord to it so that way I can wear it around my neck. And this is able to produce different high-pitched sounds to imitate smaller types of birds. And that's what these are: eagle bone flutes, turkey bone flutes, and this little eagle bone whistle. Now the next type of flute that I'm going to show you are more of the modern type, and they've changed throughout the years. They started becoming more popular in the 1970s and 80s by certain makers kind of bringing them into the modern times by making them with modern scales, so that way people can play with modern instruments like pianos or guitars. And so this type of flute has become more and more popular, and I have several examples here, some that I've made and some that other makers have made that I would like to show you. Different types of wood has been used, different types of carvings and decorations, and I'll show you several examples of those types of flutes. So this next type of flute is commonly called the Native American flute or Native American style flute, but it's somewhat of a misnomer, because all the flutes that I've mentioned so far are Native American flutes made by Native Americans, the indigenous people of this continent, of this area. So this next type of flute I call two-chambered block flutes because of how they're made. And I'll use this as an example. It's a flute made by Richard Pueblo, and I've added some eagle feathers here on the bottom. Fairly simple, nice bird head on the bottom. Very simple piece of wood here. This is the block, and on the inside, if you can imagine, there's a little block here, a little plug, and so there's one chamber here, and then there's another chamber here. Okay, so this first chamber is the slow air chamber. This one here is the sound chamber where the flute vibrates. So on top of here, there's a tiny little windway that connects this first chamber to the second, and that's where the air comes out. And this edge, this blowing edge, is what vibrates to produce the sound. So that's basically what all flutes do. An edge has to vibrate. But with these flutes, it's a little bit easier to make a sound. All you have to do is put air into this end, as opposed to the Rimblone flutes where you have to blow a certain way to produce a sound. Now this flute isn't tuned to a modern scale, so this was before standardization of this type of flute. But still produces a very nice sound, very nice tone. Now this next flute that I'm going to show you is actually the second flute that I ever bought myself. It's made from Western cedar by a company or by a flute maker named Stellar Flutes from the northwest coast, and this is what this one sounds like. So now that all of these types of flutes have been standardized, you can play with modern instruments. This particular one is in the key of C, and each hole has a specific note associated with that scale. Now some of the larger ones that I have here will have a lower key. Now this flute here is made by Ed Doherty of Tree of Life Designs. It is in the key of F sharp, which is one of the more popular keys that a flute comes in. But this particular one, you can see, is made from several pieces of wood, different colors, different trees. So these types of flutes can be made from any type of wood. This one's made out of camphor wood, bloodwood, and mahogany. And it's been glued together in a specific way. And this top block here has been made a specific way as well. And is in the key of F sharp. Now Many different types of woods are used to make these types of flutes, or any type of flute really. And even materials that we commonly find inside houses can be used. Now these ones are made out of PVC pipe. Okay. I have a small one here. Now you can probably tell that it's a pipe that are in most houses nowadays, and it brings water into our homes. And this is what this one sounds like. It's got a simple leather block up on top, and on the inside is a piece of cork from a wine bottle. You can see, kind of see here. This one's the same type of flutes made out of PVC. It's just that I've painted it different colors. And on the inside there's also cork, and this block is made out of wood on the top here. And this mouthpiece here is removable. It's just a coupler for PVC pipe. And this is in the key of A sharp. The one that I just played was in the key of F, high F, very high flute. So, these are my PVC block flutes. Now this next one is a flute that I made out of a yucca stalk, a type of yucca that grows down in southern New Mexico. Yucca elata, the soap tree yucca. It's a very tall type of yucca, and the stalks grow very tall. And so this is from one of those stalks. Carved a mallard head on the bottom, attached some eagle feathers, and I've done all sorts of decorations on it, different symbols for clouds and lightning, all the way around the flutes. This one also has square holes. This is in the key of G. This one has a piece of a stone here that I found many years ago. I've had since my childhood. And I've attached that to the top. And this is what this one sounds like. So those are some of the flutes that I use in my performances, in my talks, and some of the flutes that were used here in the American Southwest. So I hope you're able to learn a little bit more about some of these flutes and whistles, and I hope you're able to learn something from my lesson plan that goes along with this video. So thank you, and enjoy your day.